Welcome to this week's episode of The Rutledge Perspective, and I am so pleased to have my guest this week, Shinika. She is as known as the Money Shy, Money Making Shy, right? And I'm going to introduce her to you really quickly, and then we are going to dive in because she has got some nuggets to share with us. So Shinika is known as the Money Making Shy and helping the service-based entrepreneur of impact who works 9 to 5 get out of fear to experience more figures in their business so that they can find their freedom, fire their full-time job, and truly experience a legacy that goes far beyond them. She is in the business of legacy making through entrepreneurship. Shinika, thank you for being here on the Rutledge Perspective.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited.
This is going to be awesome.
Yes, this is going to be so awesome.
This is going to be awesome. So I want to start here. So let's start with kind of your journey, and people will see in your bio that you went to Bethune Cookman. And so why did you choose an HBCU? Because that's really big now, right? Is making sure that we are going to those colleges that support us. Yeah. And so why did you choose Bethune Cookman? And then how was that journey through there into where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So HBCUs have been bred through my entire family, Right. So my mom made sure I understood that it was imperative that you go to something that celebrated us, that looked like us, that would educate us, because that was never always the narrative back then. Right. So I wanted to go as far away as possible. I went to Bethune Cookman, Daytona Beach, Florida, for those that don't know. Yeah. And I lived my best life learning a lot about myself, who I am, who I can be, who came before me. And it's funny that I help all women because my school was founded, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, off of $1.50, a female founded school. So look at me, following her legacy as well, right? So being in college, I learned that I liked money. I mean, I always liked money, but I liked making it legally.
Yes.
And it was just a journey of figuring out, well, how can I use this gift or something that I like or I'm passionate about? How can I turn into something? Because the typical route for us is to go to college, to get a 9 to 5, make money, get married, do whatever, and call it your day. But I just knew inside me through the professors that I've met and have instilled in me that there's more to life, and that there's a purpose to my life. There's something that's itching inside of me that needs to get out. So with that, just really figuring out and dialing down, like within business, because I was in the school of business, what did I like and how can I transform lives with this? So, learning that, graduating, being able to, first I started in retail, and then I got a cool opportunity to just dive into project management. Didn't even know I was like amazing at it, right? Little Black girl who's like, 23, 24, 25, leading $1 million projects from construction to grand opening. And who would have ever thought that I could do this, right? So really, my journey has just really been understanding different levels of business and how they grow. And even when you ask me that question, I think about it, I'm like, wow, I really had a chance to dial in brick and mortar, dial in project management, dial in business growth to see how businesses just grow. And then, tying it back to where I came from in college, serving our people, I said, I have to do this to my community. Like we gotta make some moves like this. So that's where the entrepreneurship just birthed, and it really me trying to help others see that they are more than capable of making the money that they desire. You just need to tighten some things, shift some things, and it's possible, all because you thought of it. That has
it's so interesting because I've had more conversation, God winks, right? I've had more conversations in the last probably couple of months around money, right? And making money and unapologetically making money, and how we, especially in the Black community, have not necessarily grown up really thinking about money from the standpoint of it being, one, okay to have a lot of money, but two, how you really create wealth, not just being rich, but true wealth. And so I know God is telling me something because I keep talking to all these people. And I'm reading Rachel Rogers' book right now too, which is Millionaires. And so it's that whole unapologetic piece, right? So when you think about this whole idea of, I really liked money, right? And I wanted to figure out how to make money and how to do these things.
Mhm.
And I got to do brick and mortar, and I got to learn how businesses worked. Tell me a little bit about how what you found in that then translated
Mhm.
into what you decided to do now. What was it that kind of continued that spark for you?
Mm. It was the fact that I didn't see enough of me doing it.
Mm,
It
mhm.
was the fact that in those different places that I did work, it was people that did not look like me that were in those higher
Yes.
positions or that were in these leadership roles, or the
Mhm.
entrepreneurs that were, amazed. They didn't really look like me, right? Not that
Right.
they're not out there, but in that
Right.
time period, they didn't look like me. So for me, it
Mhm.
was like, I need to find the people that look like me and figure this out, because I feel
Right.
like I've been learning and I've been, I need to get this out. And for me, it was always, how can each one teach one? How can I get the information that
Right.
I've learned and transform it and translate it to somebody else so they can build, right? But
Mhm.
honestly, it was because I didn't see, when I worked for Gabriel Brothers, there was
Mhm.
nobody that looked like me on my team.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
the only and the youngest Black female on that team.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
it's uncomfortable because I
Yes.
like us. I like
Yes.
fellowship with us, and we are bright, we are gifted, we are a bomb.
Yes.
And
We
I want to
are.
fellowship and I want to, learn from us. But for me, it
Mhm.
was the fact that I didn't see enough of it and I wanted more.
Mm.
So for me, it was like, if I can take what I learned and
Mhm.
transfer it to somebody else, and it keeps on going and keeps on going, there will be
Mhm.
more of us. If I do my research
Yes.
and put myself in rooms where they are at, I can learn more, I
Yes.
can give more, I can impact more.
Yes.
That's really what it was
Well,
all
and
about.
and what I love about what you said is you're right. It's often, and I've got a couple of decades, I think, on you.
Mhm.
And it's not unusual, even still today in 2022, to be
Mhm.
the one and only, if not one of a
Mhm.
very few in the
Yeah.
room. And to not allow that to make you think that you're crazy, which
Right.
is part of my business, right? I didn't want anyone, especially any other Black woman, to be in those situations and think she's crazy
Right.
or think that she's somehow not worthy or other or
Mhm.
less intelligent, because
Mhm.
corporations will make you think that. They'll make you think
Yeah.
it's you, and it's
Yeah.
not you. Um, when you think about being in that area, and especially when you talk about construction and project management, very male dominated,
Mhm.
how did you focus on learning, right? What
Mhm.
can I, yes, this is uncomfortable, this is crazy, but what can I learn? Because I've got a greater purpose.
Mhm. That's good. Oh my God, such a good question. For me, it was the purpose aspect. So I
Mm-hmm.
needed to buckle down and understand. And I had a great leader, who I asked hundreds of questions to. I don't care what
Yeah.
it sounded like to him. You're going to answer
Mm-hmm.
my question. And
Right.
I wanted to make sure I understood what I was doing, even when I messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I still wanted to understand, okay, why I made this decision, why this wasn't the right
Mm-hmm.
decision. How can I learn? How can I get back up from this? So for me,
Right.
it was really understanding. I wanted to really focus in on this. Like, this was a trade. Like you said, it is male
Yes.
dominated. It
Yes.
is, I need to focus in and make sure my brilliance is coming out. So for me, it was really
Yes.
focusing in and understanding that even though I am the only one on this team, I'm not going to let it stop me or bother me. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
But let me focus in on the education aspect. Let me ask my
Yeah.
questions. Let me make sure I'm following up and make sure they know that I'm looking at them, so that they
Yes.
know that this girl is learning. This girl is bringing
Yes.
results. This girl is not playing with me. So it was
Mm-hmm.
really that accountability aspect that I made sure
Mm-hmm.
that they had on me, but I had on them for my learning and
Yes.
education. Because what I've learned is that if you're not holding them accountable, they don't care.
No,
Oh no, they don't
they
care.
don't.
Not at
They
all.
don't. They don't. And what's so powerful about what you just said is it is about being so firmly grounded in
Mm.
your desire to learn that
Mhm.
you don't let all that noise get in the way of that.
Yeah.
You don't let your failure get in the
Good.
way of that. It is about your being able to take everything that you can in, because they
Mhm.
can't take the learning away from you. They
No.
can take the job, they can take the money, they can
Mhm.
take the things, but they can't take what's in your head.
Mm-mm.
That's yours once you got
Mm-mm.
it. Right.
Yeah,
And so
that's
I
so
think,
good.
listeners, as you're listening to this, listening to what Shai just said about, look, I asked every question and you were going to answer my questions. I was going to learn. So even if you're in a situation, I call it the Rutledge perspective for a reason. Even
Mm.
if you're in a situation that you hate, Shifting perspectives shifts your circumstances. I don't like it, but I'm going to learn everything I can while I'm here.
Yes.
So then I can make a plan to get out.
Yes.
Right. So
Okay.
now you're in here, you're asking all the questions, you're making sure they know that they can't sleep on you, right? Because she's going to ask. So we're going to need to say, right? How then did you take all of that you learned and then translate into a strategy for what you're doing now? Like, what was your transition plan?
Oh, I had so many good people in my life that let me, I don't want to say play with them, play in their business,
right?
No, but took a bet on me. It was really me taking what I learned and saying, look, if you do X, Y, and Z, you'll yield the X, Y, and Z result. And because they trusted me enough, they did it and they saw results. So I'm like, wait a minute, this works like this and they got this. Oh, let me keep going. Let me keep going. Right? It boosted my confidence, honestly, you know? So it was really having those 2 to 3 people that just said, you know what, Shy, what you say, I'll do. Some things work, some things didn't. Even on the things that didn't work and I thought less of myself, it was the same people that said, no, let's keep trying. Let's keep going. Because I used to think if I am not in a money level to tell a person what to do, I can't tell them. That is so wrong. That is so wrong. If I'm good at strategy, if I'm good at growth, because I've had the experience in this capacity, because it's been in corporate, I can still translate it to entrepreneurship into small businesses. So I had to learn. That was a major shift I had to make, because I used to think because I wasn't at this level, I couldn't tell you what to do. And that was so wrong. When I first helped, never forget this, my friend Brian, when I first helped him make, what was it? 20,000 in 1 hour. 20,000 in 1 hour off of a strategy that I leveraged off of corporate, but tweaked a little bit towards his business. I'm like, what? I'm on to something.
Right.
I can believe in myself a little bit more. You know what? Let me keep going. Let me keep going. But that was like the hugest transition, like you were asking, from corporate to helping others in entrepreneurship. It was really that piece of, well, I'm not even there yet. Who am I? Right. Who am I to tell you how to do this? Who am I to say this? Who am I? And I constantly questioned who I was in order to do this. But when I did the first person, I was like, I'm Shinika. I got this. Like, I can help you make some money. Look what I just did, you know? So it was really leveraging that shift, that mindset shift. It was a lot of those shifts for me, questioning my worth and my deserve level, honestly, that was my biggest thing, was questioning my deserve level and my worth. Those were the 2 biggest shifts. Oh my God.
I love that. Because as I say, a recovering senior HR executive, right? Because it's HR is especially right now. That whole idea of transferable skills, right? And I just had a conversation with somebody as well who's like, I was thinking about, how can I teach people this? Because I don't know that much and I've only been doing it. Look, no matter what you're doing, if you have 2 days of experience, you have 2 days more than somebody. So your 2 days is what they need, right? Yeah. And so, but it's that whole mindset of, let me stop and look at what skills I know that I can transfer. That's why when I work with my clients, I say, don't tell me what job you want to do. Tell me the kind of work you want to do. Because if you know the work you want to do, then we can take your skills and transfer those to whatever industry and whatever job you want. And so you are a shining example of, look, skills are transferable. You may have learned it at corporate, but that doesn't mean it has to stay in corporate at all. Right. So tell me, Shinika, because this is a big deal, especially for our community. There's this really weird relationship with money, right? I just had a woman on my radio show. She's the first Black commissioner at the Port of Houston, which is the largest port in the US, right? She's amazing. And she's a lawyer and she's a certified financial planner. She's heavy is what she is. Man. And so we were just talking about this, that some of it we know to be generational. We were denied so much for so long, for generations, that we have a tendency, and I'm spreading peanut butter, so y'all know that I know what I'm saying, right? We have a tendency, stereotypically, to take money and buy things. You know, if we have achieved a level of financial success, we want people to see that financial success. And yet people with real money, you normally don't know they have real money because they're not showing their real money. So how do you also help your your clients get over potentially disruptive or damaging kind of feelings or thoughts or understanding around money, including a fear of wealth, a fear of success? How do you help them work through money head trash?
Can I just say you asked the juiciest? You asked the juiciest. Oh my gosh. But yes. Money consciousness, money relationship. I really take them on a story because I really need to understand your money story, right? Well, a lot of times we don't realize it's our upbringing. It's what we heard our aunties and uncles and them on the porch. It's what we grew up. Everybody's heard money don't grow on trees. You got to work hard to work for money. We got to rob Peter to pay Paul. We've heard it all growing up. And it's really, with my clients, I really try to understand what did you hear? And let's work on dismantling that. Because what you heard is not true. So we have to unlearn to relearn something new. And then really understanding, what does wealth and legacy mean to you? Because everybody has their own definition. And it's different for everybody, right? And you mentioned more people with wealth, you really don't know because they don't buy the things. I say, once you get some money, buy the things. If it makes you feel luxurious, do it. But then listen, it's more than the money.
Yes.
More than the money. What you're doing has to be more than the money. So let's talk about what more than the money looks like. We take them through them understanding, what does that mean for them? What does that look like for them? We do this whole visual thing, close your eyes. Tell me, there's a picture on the wall, right? And the generations down the line are saying, who is auntie this, or who's grandma this? And who made all of this possible? What is that possible that you made? And then we're role playing. They're talking about the buildings, the schools, all of these things. Okay, that's more than the money. That's the impact.
Yes.
That's the impact. I said, let me tell you, these millionaires and these billionaires, they have all the things. They get tired of it. Yeah. But what they're leaving is legacy. Legacy is financial. So the financial aspect is schools, the things that they're leaving behind, the buildings, the apartment building, the whole thing that they done bought up.
Right.
That people don't know that's in their name, but is their generation is generating wealth that lives far beyond them, whether they stay or go. Yes. So let's talk about it. How serious is that to you? So the people that I work with, I am so passionate about them knowing that it's more than the money, because it is.
Yes.
So I take you through that journey, and the unpacking, the unlearning and the unpacking sometimes is a different shift for them. It's an uncomfortable shift because your whole life you've learned this one thing. Your whole life you learned, let's hustle and grind. And you meet somebody like me or you and saying, you don't have to hustle and grind. You can have grace and ease and make your money, and it's fine. So it's really taking them through those shifts. And like you said, having them know that they deserve it. They're worthy of it. Because those are the biggest things. And it's okay to learn something new. It's okay not to feel like you have to hustle and grind. I don't know where, so this is Shy version of the Bible. So it's in there. It says sweatless victories. God didn't say hustle and grind for yours. He said sweatless.
Yes.
Grace and ease.
Yes.
And that's what I want for everybody listening. Grace and ease. You ain't got to work too hard. Now, don't get me twisted. You do have to prepare your fields for rain.
You do.
You have to put the work in. You do have to do, make sure your system is in place and make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. But ain't nobody say you have to work hard. You have to hustle and grind and sweat and sweat all hard. I'm exhausted thinking about it.
Right? Well, and I hate that. I did a podcast on that. I'm like, one, you need to give yourself, put some grace in that hustle, right? Because look, we have so much pressure that says, if you don't have what you want, if you don't have the money you want, if you don't have the car, if you don't have the house, if you don't have the things you want, you're just not working hard enough. You're hustling hard enough. You're not grinding enough. Stop, because we're putting that pressure and we're putting that shame on ourselves for not being, one, comparison, and two, not giving ourselves the luxury of time, because time is a construct. We add pressure to time, and yes, time is not renewable. And yes, life is short. We never know when our day is going to come, but you have plenty of time to do the things that are really meant for you to do. So stop putting all that pressure on yourself, right? To just do craziness. Well, in that kind of conversation that you're having with people, the other thing that I think comes up, at least for me, coming out of entrepreneurship, coming out of corporate into entrepreneurship, man, that solopreneur especially gives room for all that head trash that you've had for generations and decades to show up, because it's just you, right? But there's a component, I think, of of money and money management and having money, not having money, how you use your money. Do you have enough money if an emergency happens? Of shame around money, especially for women, right? We don't know what to do with it, or we're told women are bad with money and all of these kind of things. What are you finding when you're working with people as a key thing for them to think about to move past the shame of a lack of knowledge around, money and investing, a lack of really having, $100,000 or even $1,000 in the bank? How do you help them shift their mindset to not be shameful and to move into education and learning?
This is going to be a different answer.
Yeah.
I tell them to forgive themselves. Forgive yourself for what you don't know, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Forgive yourself. And they're like, forgive yourself for what you don't know, and it's okay. Yeah. Once they get past that, then I'm like, okay, what happens when we don't know? We ask questions. We invest in what we don't know. We get coaches. We get support. Yes. Let's work on that. Let's work on the positive aspect. Okay, we don't know this. It's fine. Forgive. Yeah. Let's move forward so that we can get to the goal faster, because we took time to forgive ourselves, and we took time to redo the research to get what we need. I'm not about I'm not about making the wheel or trying to create it. I'm about finding the wheel that works and doing that wheel. I ain't got time. Right. I'm going to find the wheel that works and work that wheel. So I'm going to find a coach. I'm going to find the education. I'm going to find who already knows, impact me so that I can impact myself and others. Period.
I love that. I love that, because, it's this idea of ignorance, right? Because we've attached such an ugly meaning to the word ignorance, and ignorance fundamentally just means something you don't know. You are ignorant of something. And here's the beautiful thing about ignorance. Ignorance can be rectified.
Say that.
You can figure that out, right? You don't have to remain ignorant about things.
Right.
That's not the same as crazy, stupidity, lack of common sense. Those are different things. But ignorance can be alleviated. And I think what you said is so true. It starts with forgiving yourself for those old paradigms that you learned, right? Or that you grew up learning, or that you didn't learn at all. Right. Forgive yourself for that. It's a new day. You have choices to move forward. Yes. Right. You can move forward. So when you think about your business and women in particular, right, and moving women into entrepreneurship, and even if they're working a 9-to-5 and that's what they love, that's what they want to do, right? They really want to be that CEO, right? They want to be that high powered, Fortune 500 person. What is a key learning that you've had through your corporate and your entrepreneurship that you would tell someone, here are 3 key things, right, that I really want you to think about when it comes to building wealth?
Okay. 3 key things.
Or 1 or 2.
1 or 2. Okay. I would say first, I'll say 3. The first was hiring a life, or some people call therapist, coach, because once you accumulate wealth, it's different. Because now you have to dig deep on certain things, right? That for me, that was my journey. And I didn't realize that until that happened. So I would self-care, that therapy, that life, to me, that was just vital. It was priority. It was needed, because if I never, like you said, if I became a millionaire overnight and if I never had millions, that's different.
Yes.
That is so, and people don't think about it like that. It's so different. Yeah. So I need to process, I need to work on some things, because like you said, you ever heard people who get a whole bunch of money and blow it in 2 weeks? I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. Right. But because of what I didn't know, and because of things that I saw, and because of things that I've been through, I blew it. So let me really work on that. So it would be that. It would be making sure my systems are in place. I'm organized. My systems are in place to keep it going, Right. Last but not least, the savior of self-care. Yes. People don't realize how important that really is. They'll become workaholics and not realize how important that self-care is actually a strategy to making more money.
Yes. Yes. Really, and I am a believer in therapy, man. I've had my therapist for years, 12 years. Right. And I tell you what, I know that I would not be here doing what I'm doing without therapy. So I'm a big believer. I talk about it all the time. I have no shame in saying I have a therapist and she's amazing. Right. Yeah. And for those of you who are like, oh, you shouldn't be in therapy that long. What's going on? What's happened? If you have the right person the relationship begins to change because you begin to grow and you begin to dig deeper into other stuff, right? So like for me, it's shifted into almost like a business coaching kind of thing, right? What are those things? What are those blocks that come up as entrepreneurs? Because it does.
Yes.
That head trash is real when you're out by yourself.
Yes, people think because you get to the next level that the fear and all the voices get quiet. No, they get a little they get louder every level.
They do.
They get louder.
They do. And if you're not surrounded by people who are a great support system, even those folks who have no idea what you do, but they love you, you know, make sure your village is tight too. You got to have a good village. Yeah. And I know people use tribe and posse and all that. For me, it's village because it takes a village, right? Yeah. You need your village that's really going to surround you and lift you up and call you on the carpet when you're being crazy, right?
Yes, that's the important part.
So then the last question for you before we tell people kind of how they can get in touch with you is, with those big learnings that you had and knowing your experience, thinking about the people that you help, what is one key piece of guidance if for someone who is starting on or desirous of starting on a journey to financial health?
Oh, such a good question. I would say knowing your why, because when you know your why, your what has more impact.
Oh, that's good.
Because the journey it's a long journey, but like you said, within that journey, you're going to mess up. You're not going to understand. You're going to fall through. You're going to get excited. You're going to make a lot. You're going to, you know, but I think the most important thing is when you know why you're on this journey, the what of it has more impact. That would be my keyest thing, because it's for me, it's the deep of the why that has kept me going throughout it all. I've been through a lot of lows and some good old highs, but it was through those lows that I've learned my real reason of why I keep getting up. I keep getting up. I keep trying again. I keep going. And I think people don't realize, like, in whatever stage of entrepreneurship that you're in, that you're gaining your financial wealth, there's going to be a lot of lows.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of lows. And that is so powerful to know your why, because then the what, you know, it'll come. And then the how takes care of itself.
Oh my God.
How will take care of itself. Right? It does. Because it's when I think about even my journey, this is year 5 of my business, but I tell you, for those that are listening and those who've been following me, you know, it's only been in the last couple of years that it's been really clear. The why was always clear. I didn't have any issue with the why, but the what, I don't think really solidified until this year number 4 and 5, because for those of you who are thinking about going out, for those of you who are really trying to decide what you want to do, especially coming out of corporate, and I think, Shai, you will get this too. When you come out of corporate, there's a brick and mortar language, right? And so when you go out and you're trying to do something in entrepreneurship, especially in this whole digital age and everything's online and all that, this is even pre-pandemic, everything is virtual. People may be saying the same words, but they're meaning something different. And if you don't have connection to people who've been in corporate, you may be talking about things like strategy, like planning, like budgeting, like all of those kind of things. But your words mean something completely different than maybe a coach that you have or somebody that's in your circle who hasn't had that experience. So as Shai says, to really understand your why, also give yourself some grace in that hustle. Don't worry about the hustle and the grind, because you're going to make some missteps. I have a whole HR portal out there that I spent a ton of money and a ton of time doing because I wanted to help some small business owners because they always screw up the HR stuff, right? But I hated it. And I hated it when I was doing it, because I don't want to be in that tactical HR space. I just do not. But you know, early in the business, it seemed to make sense. I was surrounded with people who were like, Laurel, we need this so much. You're so good at it. This would be so great. But my heart wasn't in it, which means I didn't promote it as well. I didn't work out, you know. So listen to what Shai says in terms of know your why, because then you can really get clear on the what. And give yourself some grace in that hustle and that grind and that clarity, because the what may change along the way. It just may.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Because those learnings, right, especially the ones when you fail, can be some of the meatiest, heaviest, best learning
Tell them.
in your whole journey.
Tell them. because
in
it
your
just
whole journey.
it catapults you to that next thing. It does.
Yes. Yeah. And it teaches you that you survived. You survived that low. You survived that low. So Shai, where can people get in touch with you? And we'll put some things in the the bio and the show notes, but what is the best way if people are like, oh my God, I just listened to her. I need her in my life because I need to find out how and why and when to make this money.
Yes. I am on Instagram. I love that. That's one of my favorite platforms. Instagram as She Is Shinika. My full name is Shinika. So She Is Shinika, and I know that you'll put it in the show notes.
Yes.
My website, you can either go to forthegirlslikeus.com or madeherselfaboss.com. Both brands are helping women in different ways gather that money so that they can live the life they desire and that they deserve to. So yes. That's how you get at your girl.
I love that. And especially deserve. Deserve. That's a mindset, right? Not only can we do it, we have the capability to do it, but we deserve wealth. We deserve to be able to live lives that are impactful and that leave a legacy, not just a monetary legacy, but an impact legacy, as you heard Shai say earlier.
Absolutely.
Man, Shai, this is incredible. Yes! Oh my gosh. I loved every single minute of this. It is so nice to speak with someone who is so phenomenal around money, but also so enthusiastic about it and so excited about helping other people get there. So I appreciate your spending your time with the Rutledge Perspective.
Yes, I am so excited. And can I just say, it is such an honor and a privilege to be able just to talk to you. I've been listening and I just love everything that you're doing. And you're so easy to talk to. And like I said, I just love it. So I just really want to say how much I am appreciative and honored to just be talking to you about things that we have in common and how we are impacting people together with this. So I am just so thankful for you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. That just made my day. I really appreciate it because I do. I love what I do and I love making an impact and I love being able to give information to people that is going to help them get where they want to be because it's not about me. It's about serving others. Absolutely. So thank you. And for those of you listening, go follow Shai, Money Making Shi. Go follow her, go reach out to her. Do not sit in that shame or overwhelm or indecision about money. And if nothing else, schedule a call and see those first few steps you can make. And as always, thank you so much for listening to the Rutledge Perspective. I appreciate every listen, every download, every share, every subscription, everything. And if you have a chance, please go out there on your favorite platform, leave me a review, send me a note, send me a DM and say, hey, would you interview this person or would you talk about this thing? And it would be my pleasure to add that to the list. So thank you again. We will catch you next week. Shai, we're going to do it again.
Yes, we are.
Take care. Bye everybody. You have been listening to the Rutledge Perspective podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and for connecting. You can find previous episodes of the podcast on my website at laurelrutledge.com/podcast. You can also find me on social media at Laurel K. Rutledge and/or The Rutledge Perspective. And I'd love your perspective on the things we talk about. And if there's a specific topic you want me to cover, just let me know. And please share this podcast with someone in your village who may need this little piece of perspective today. And if you're so inclined, I would really appreciate a 5-star rating and review on the platform of your choice. Apple Podcasts and Spotify reviews are particularly helpful. Thank you again for listening. Take care.